Actually, should we do like a best cocktail bar in Manila? Yeah? Is it a good idea? Okay, we find a different host.
Where can you find the best places to eat tacos in Metro Manila? Well, today we are attempting to answer that question. We have been to so many different places, all from the most authentic that we could find to more creative spots, all the way to kind of fine dining tacos.
That's a good bite of food.
At this point, I've eaten more than 16 and I'm absolutely stuffed. It's a good video. Please watch it till the end. We start our taco exploration at one of my favorite restaurants in Manila. I've been really good friends with Chef Bruce and Jay for the longest time, and when they opened Chinesca, it was a revelation in terms of what tacos and Mexican food were to me particularly. People might know him more now for his work at EI and the tasting menus that they do and those beautiful, delicious nigiris that he puts so much care and kind of thought into. But that discipline translates to his tacos, and it's still one of my favorite bites in the city. I remember you guys took a trip to Mexico.
Yeah.
When was that? When you were together?
2017.
So was that before Chinesca or after opening Chinesca?
That was right before we opened La Chinesca. So
was
we wanted to make a trip to kind of do just a bit more research. But at the same time, that was the year that I proposed to Jay. It solidified the direction that I wanted to take.
Okay.
Because to me, it was basically, I felt like I understood what it's supposed to be. But then I also understood how to make it my own.
Yeah.
Without being embarrassed if an authentic person came in looking for authentic tacos.
Yeah.
For me, that was the validation that I got when I went to Mexico.
I'm gonna start with the tuna tostada. This has a chipotle mayo, salsa fresca, lime, some Maggi, good choice, orange, onion, peanuts, and obviously the fried. Ever since this was on the menu, this has been one of my go-tos to order, just because of how fresh and light it feels. And it takes a lot of skill to make sure that tortilla stays nice and crispy. Even if this has been sitting here for a couple of minutes already, it's still really nice and has that bite.
But when I first tried Chinesca, it was the first time I understood how crucial the tortilla actually was.
Yeah.
For me, before it was more of like, oh, it's just there as a way to kind of hold everything else that goes on top,
Yeah.
right?
La Chinesca went through such a crazy phase, tortilla study and obsessions as well. And then it got to a point where we were even studying, okay, should we just stick to yellow? Should we do white? Or like, what is it about the corn that when you eat a taco, what is it that makes it really proper? Is it the taste? But then when you have so many flavored meats, it's not the taste that sticks out, it's actually the aroma.
Right.
And the aroma of the whole room the moment you walk in that makes it a taqueria.
This is the carne asada. And ever since they opened, they had these 3 salsas, varying in flavor, but also in terms of heat. Let's try the green one. Salsa verde first. That's so good. So when you want a really good tortilla, what's the texture you're looking for?
So you want something that feels heavy, but then when you eat it, it feels light.
Light.
And the only way it happens is when they puff up perfectly, like that. And then if you want the aroma, you have to keep it inflated longer in the griddle so that as they're inflated, it's like they get baked. The inside dries out and then the outside gets toasted and crispy.
Okay, and last here we have the cabeza and escabeche. And you have this in a taco version.
We have a taco version of
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah, this is insane. Like, I feel like I should stop eating at this point.
Yeah, there goes your gym, you know?
Because we have so many stops. Yeah, that's delicious.
I honestly don't know how I'm gonna survive today with this many tacos in this little amount of time. We are shooting everything in one day, but all these stops are worth it. We are at Los Tacos. Chef Patrick is one of the newcomers when it comes to tacos in the Philippines, but they already have a Michelin bib, which is pretty amazing. I think one of the reasons is because they nixtamalize their own corn and they really make those tortillas from scratch, which makes a huge difference. And it's just a really great taco to have if you're in the Uptown area.
How we do our food here is more of like the things that we ourselves enjoy when we eat it. That's our approach in making our own tacos. We don't try to be authentic because it's hard to be authentic, especially it's a culture that you didn't grow up.
So we are gonna start with the ceviche. So there are no rules to this crawl, to this taco crawl. The idea is just to kind of try what I feel is emblematic in each of these restaurants. We are obviously focusing on tacos, but we also want to showcase, the other stuff that the chefs are working on. I love the use of kamyas here with the swordfish. The idea of a leche de tigre granita is great because it adds kind of like this icy element, something that should be really nice and cold. There's some coconut in there too, really nice and creamy, so bright. That natural creaminess that swordfish has, and then the iced coconut just brings it all together. And the level of acidity in there is so spot on.
Our process now, it's pretty simple. It's long, it sounds complicated, but it's pretty simple. So we just cook our corn in hydrated lime and cal, and then for an hour until it's al dente. And then we steep it 12 to 14 hours. So the corn that we cook today, we're gonna grind it tomorrow morning using the molinito, and then that's what we're gonna use for today's service.
So we got the tacos de lengua, so grilled ox tongue, frijoles, and an adobo sauce. I'm a huge fan of beef tongue, and it is an ingredient that you do find quite a bit in Mexican cooking as well. And here they're using a black corn tortilla. Wow, that's tender. That with that salsa verde on there and just those kind of grilled onions to bring out a little bit of sweetness. The spice is there, but it's not like in your face. It's kind of just takes a while to kind of show itself. And that dark adobo sauce. So adobo in Mexican cooking, I mean, I'm gonna show it to you in my hands, but it's like a dark spice sauce, not your Filipino vinegar soy adobo. So same name, very different product.
When I used to work for other chefs, they taught me how to do things right.
Yeah.
If I use masa harina, I mean, it's pretty easier for everybody. For me, for the staff, but it's just when we tried making tortillas from scratch, basically, it's just different. And the idea of the space is help promote that. It can be done here.
Yeah.
It's not logistically sound,
Correct.
but
Yeah.
it's possible.
Now we have our fish tacos. So this is more of a Baja, I think, Californian style taco. I'm a huge fan of battered fish. And that looks incredible. Something that you'll see today that's very key is that layering of texture and flavors. Wow. I'm getting so much smoke here. So that char, I think, is on the pickled cabbage. And it makes a massive difference to the whole dish. So if you're looking at a spot to have a date, maybe not the first date, because it gets quite messy, maybe your third or fourth date, this is the place to be. I think it was so smart for them to put an actual taco window where you have the masa resting out there, you see the wood fire there, you see the corn hanging. It's just so alluring. I'm a huge fan of Chef Charles and what he's doing. He's very kind of eclectic and kind of obsessed with this idea of char, fire, and wood, which brings such a distinct lick of flavor to the food that he produces. Mamacita is pretty new. I mean, it came out last year, but it's already making a lot of noise, and it's a great place to come eat and hang out at night.
Mamacita is meant to be a community restaurant. It has been very effective because we've been seeing a lot of people coming here at least 3 times a week.
Because originally, I read somewhere that it was originally meant to be more of a drinking
Yes,
bar.
yes.
And then when did that switch over to, okay, let's start focusing on the food?
I think it's mainly because we were putting a lot of effort when it comes to the approach on the food.
Let's try the elotes first. So he's saying he was using the crunchy tortillas to kind of have like this Doritos effect to it. Let's try that. It's heavy on the mayo, heavy on the spice, but that fried tortilla texture is so key. you have like 20 sauces that you work on?
25.
25 sauces.
25.
Okay, what was the idea?
And it's still evolving. Like, I kind of want people to have their own mixing and matching. So
Okay.
every time they would come here, they would be bringing someone and they would be bragging as if they've discovered something. You know, that kind of approach.
Okay.
Like people would be mixing their own signature flavors when it comes to doing the salsas.
And these are salsas that anyone can order.
Yes.
You can order 25 salsas.
Yes.
So I can sit down, have a taco, and be like, can I
Yes.
have all 25 sauces?
Yes, and the nice thing about it, all the salsas, each one of them is applicable to any dishes on the menu, any
Wow.
dish on the menu.
First, let's try our shrimp taco.
So this one is the Gobernador. So it's prawns, roasted green peppers, quesillo, and caldo de camarón.
Let's try 2 different sauces here. Yum. This is like a red bell pepper sauce, which is quite delicious. Next here we have, so they had 2 versions. Either you do the fish taco or you do something that was inspired by the fish taco, which is this one here, where it's used, where they use an eggplant. Let me try the sauces first. That's like a sweet miso bean type thing, which is quite nice. And that's like a spicy, fresh avocado salsa verde. That's a good bite of food.
Getting to know the fire better, it's like you're being able to handle such a powerful element. So there's something in there.
And is that something that's also a cornerstone
Yes.
to what you're
Yeah.
doing here?
Yes.
Okay.
So we toast our Mexican chili straight on the wood fire. We also cook our tortillas on the plancha on top of the wood.
Ah, cool. Okay, nice.
And our final taco here is the ribeye arrachera, Wagyu ribeye, last bite of the last taco. This is almost like the most Filipino tasting one. It's almost like a bistec kind of taco. Let's try other sauces here. It's a chili garlic. Wash all of it down to Paloma. I think at this point my diet is just like flying away. So alcohol at 2 p.m. Why not?
As you can see, we finally made it out of the chat group. We are out of BGC. This particular story I really love because Tots is someone who really believes that hard work and grind can get you places. El Poco Cantina actually started as a 10 square meter spot that got really popular with all the students around here, and you can see it's a lot of yellow school buses behind me. And so he really got popular during a time where quesabirria was becoming really huge online. It was kind of trending, and he was one of the few to kind of really capitalize on it and make that kind of like the star of his menu, and eventually built the whole brand around it.
We managed to do the brand at home. So because
it.
there was no,
Ah, this is-
basically no business that was operating at that time, pandemic,
Okay.
we did everything at home, but there was no birria at that time pa.
Got it.
The whole story of the whole birria thing came to be when we saw the Facebook pages posting
Blowing up.
monthly food of everything that is viral.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's when I thought na, oy, there's really only one, I think, at that time
Correct.
that serves the birria tacos.
Correct.
And then we did it. From the moment to pandemic up to now,
Yeah.
the birria game stay relevant, and then we just opted to really bet
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Rebranded the whole brand to a birria specialized taco shop.
Okay.
And then we are where we are right
Yeah.
now.
So this is really meant to push out volume.
Yep.
So how many birrias, let's say on a busy school day? how many
Before
birrias do you do?
Michelin, I would say about 800 tacos
A day?
because of the school.
Jesus.
Then Michelin, I'll probably say like 1.5 tacos per day.
Wild.
We are now officially a taco machine.
Food is always enhanced by the person telling that story. We are in basically the church of quesabirria. These guys are really the ones that kind of put this on the map and really made it such a big thing that a lot of people could try, not just in kind of like your higher end BGC Makati spots. And honestly, flavor-wise, it's so good. I love the simplicity of it.
really focusing on the flavor and the spices in that beef, which really kind of just pour their heart out into the consommé that you can kind of keep dipping to. The spice is there, but the cheese kind of mellows everything out. With the onions, and you want that grease to keep coming out. It's such a delicious bite of food, honestly.
The whole concept of this birria was out of survival during the pandemic. And then when we had the opportunity to rise, you know, literally one product changed the whole dynamic of our lives. Normal Tex-Mex lang kami na maliit na tindahan dyan sa Pasay.
Correct.
And then eventually, parang we're the heroes of the birria game now. So, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of like competitors now na sabihin nila na, oh yeah, this one's better and that one's better. But we don't really like battle for the who's the best na eh.
Chicken tostada. I mean, if you're in the area, this is really a place that you kind of want to stop in. If you're a fan of quesadilla. Horchata. Horchata with tacos makes so much sense. Like if you tell me you're gonna drink something milky with something spicy and acidic, weird, but that's because you're thinking of dairy milk, but this is quote unquote rice milk, right? And so it won't kind of coagulate with the citrus. Nice and sweet, delicate, those spices really come through. Take a sip of that, take a bite of this. I don't even know what taco this is, but this is like too much. I need to sleep. So we've seen everything at this point from straightforward, beautiful, simple, flavored tacos to tacos that are a bit more whimsical, others that have followed trends and really kind of capitalized on them. But what happens to tacos when they're mixed in with a fine dining approach? And no one does it better than Taqueria Franco and Chef Miko Calo.
A conversation late at night in Metronome. He goes, if you were to make a taco, because we both love tacos. And then, if you were to make a taco, what would you do? And I said, I actually don't know, because the only exposure to tacos I have are like the ones here and the ones in California. Like,
Right.
But I've never been to Mexico, so you know, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. He goes, okay, let me rephrase the question. If you were to make a taco here in this kitchen right now, what would you make? I'm like, oh, definitely not like my tortilla wouldn't be corn, because I don't have corn here, but it's gonna be like wheat based. Probably do a beef bourguignon quesadilla. And he goes, oh, I know. So if you're gonna make tacos in this kitchen, it's all French leaning. I'm like, yeah. He goes, okay, French leaning tacos, that's interesting.
This is so that's
The
the
lamb
option that
bourguignon.
it's a lamb bourguignon.
Yeah, the lamb, there's some sauteed mushrooms and some pistou
Okay.
and some Gruyere and Emmental cheese. Yeah.
And a lot of butter.
And a lot of butter. And
This-
so that's
this one is
a duck confit. So
amazing.
duck confit, the idea behind this is the crispy aromatic duck that you get in like the Chinatown in London.
Yeah. This is kind of like a fun, creative playground.
Yeah,
almost.
and it's a little bit more like, it's less rigorous. It's
that's good.
Just, you know, it's fun, and
Yeah.
and I think it's also, kind of comes with the personality of the place. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We just make sure that the food is great and
Yeah.
flavors are.
And Salcedo would have been the perfect place
Yeah,
to do that.
we wanted it to be to have a neighborhood, as much of a neighborhood feel as possible.
So here we have blue cheese, mussels.
Yeah, so it's one of those classic French pairings of like mussels and blue cheese.
Yeah.
So this one, we cook the mussels in white wine, à la marinière, just normal. And then when we serve it, the broth we monte in butter, just a taco. We kind of wanted to do something else, and yeah. So
And I finished my drink. That was delicious. You haven't touched yours, so cheers. Thank you.
That's how you know we are on the older side of the spectrum. We don't go out much. So we are in the bowels, the intestines of Makati Cinema Square, which apparently has become really hip over the last few months, I would say. Clubs like No Calo have opened up. Fat Cat recently got awarded one of the best bars in the Philippines. And they have a sister bar called El Gato, which surprisingly has a really good taco on the menu. So that's what we're looking for, if we can find it. Can you tell me about what's the concept around all of this? And what's the obsession with cats? I think I want to start there.
We have, actually, I was not a cat person before.
Okay.
But during the pandemic, we adopted like 2 cats from like just roaming around outside our house. Then I fell in love with them. So I became like a cat
cat
person.
lady?
Yeah.
Okay.
So finally, the owner of MCS, he was like, okay, KFC, the second floor of KFC is available. Would you guys be interested? And we're like, it's so big. Like, what are we gonna do with it? So, and then El Gato and downstairs was born Cattery.
So you got your dream at the end.
Yeah.
You got the taco shop at
The
the end.
taco shop. So it was to our advantage that we had zero expectations when we went into the F&B industry.
Yeah.
So our like one of our first discussions was, okay, if we open a bar, like how long do you think we can bleed before we close
How
down?
much money can we lose?
Yeah. So we were like, okay, maybe 4 months.
Okay.
And then, so I think we just got very lucky.
Nice.
And I kind of like think it was the cats that brought us luck.
This is delicious, by the way. Like, it's a trader. Like, it's very easy to drink. So that's delicious. So who handles the food and who handles the drinks?
He handles the drinks.
Okay. And in terms of the bar program here, so it's all agave-based spirits mostly.
Yeah, for the back bar, all agave.
And
But
lamunog also, I saw. Yeah.
But for the cocktails, I guess we still need to have some gin, some
Correct.
bourbon.
Here you have like a chicken and a sal taco. So was that important for you to kind of marry those two cultures?
At first I wanted it to be like, okay, like Mexican street food, like authentic. But then I was like, why not like incorporate the Filipino flavors since our whole theme is like the Mexican-Filipino connection. So eventually I decided to put in like more Filipino influences, and especially because we're neighbors with Aidas. I'm obsessed with their
inasal chicken.
inasal.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, now I can't eat there anymore because we just can't get a seat. So I was like, okay, maybe I should try making my own inasal.
Yeah.
So
Had they been getting that full from the Michelin listing?
yeah.
That's
The
crazy.
lines are crazy.
Mm.
And the wait is super long. So
I love the crispy chicken skin on this. Very good. This is very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is such a great way for me to, like, I feel like someone should be rolling me home at this point. I just want aircon and a bed. That's all I want. And my big, thick kumot. That's it. And I'll be good. I don't think I've eaten this much in a long time, so it's going to take me a while to digest everything. But one thing that kind of surprised me today, which I didn't realize this video would take that direction, a lot of these businesses were actually not born, but kind of came out during that pandemic era. So I think it was a time where people kind of just thought about taking a different direction and different steps in their career and kind of following their passions. And I think that's what something like tacos really brings to the table, right? It's such a fun format and structure where you can build, be creative, and kind of liberated in terms of the food and the elements and the ingredients that you're adding to it without having to think too much about the rules. And that's why I think it thrives in Manila. And like, as you can see today, like Manila is a buzzing dining scene. There's so much to see, so much to try. There's so many passionate people kind of putting up great concepts.
and filling your bellies. Because I'm full. And I'm ready to hug my daughter and go to sleep. It's a really good drink. Yeah, so if you guys haven't... Actually, should we do like a best cocktail bar in Manila? Yeah? Is it a good idea? Okay, we'll find a different host. It's Julius!